Well, hello, wealthy women. I tell you, I'm very, very excited to share another beautiful success story with you today. Be prepared to be inspired and just so enthusiastic about your work and your business and what your dreams are, because after this interview, you will get sort of like a shot of energy, B12, if you want to call it that, to go forward and keep pursuing your dreams. And so, without further ado, I'm going to pass the video and mic over to Joanne. And Joanne, go ahead and tell us all about you, who you are, what your work is, and why are you doing it?
Oh, thank you. And I'm really, really excited and pumped to be speaking to you all the way from Australia, Tamara. So thank you. Thank you for making the time. So Joanne Brooks, founder and CEO of Navigate Biz. So what does that mean? For me, it's about working with women in business, women who have got to a certain point in their business that they're going, oh man, I'm not really sure where I can go and how I can build this. So why? Why did I start this? I've been in business as an entrepreneur for about 20 odd years. I've owned about 17 different companies. Some of them have been huge success, others have been failures. And really, Navigate Biz was started to help businesses understand the importance of foundations of business. What I noticed and what I still see today is people come to their business because they've got an element of genius there. They're an amazing designer. They're an awesome accountant. They're a coach, whatever it is that their genius is. But they don't necessarily come to their business with good business foundations. And I often like to speak about the concept. If you're going to build a house, you know the builder is going to put some foundations in the ground, right? So one story, it's a certain level. Two, it's deeper. High rise, it's very deep. And so I would often ask my business clients, why is it that you're building a business without good solid foundations? Because you would never do that if you're going to build a home, yeah, or a high rise. And yet, they've got aspirations for building it and growing it, and so they haven't given attention to the importance, but are sometimes considered the mundane and boring element of business in the good foundations, right? And so that's just something that's not negotiable for me. It's something that I'm deeply passionate about. I could say that I'm awesome at putting systems, policies, procedures, workflows, all those sort of things in there, but it doesn't sound terribly exciting. So that's what I'm about, is because what I don't want is a woman get to the point where she is ready to exit that business. The exit could be in any manner they choose. They could choose to walk away. They could choose to list it on the stock exchange and everything in between, sell it, merger, whatever. But what I see time and time again here in Australia, I'm sure it's everywhere, is that people get to that point and they go, oh, I'm going to exit my business. I'm going to get an enormous payout, because often that is their retirement plan, right? We are often the people who pay ourselves last. We don't put it away for a rainy day so much. And yet they get to that point and they go, oh, goodness, what am I going to do? My exit strategy is no longer valid. What could I do? Well, you really need to get a DeLorean and go back in time and put all these foundations back in place, so that even if you change your mind how you're going to exit that business, that's okay. But at least have that end in mind as you were growing and building that business, because you'll run it differently. If you just want to walk away from it, you'll run it differently to that person who wants to franchise it or wants to list on the stock exchange. And so put those good business practices in place. And some people say to me, oh, this sounds a bit like a corporate job, corporate business. I said, well, corporate do it for a really good reason. It jolly well works, right? And so why can't we use those methodologies in our business, whether you're a solopreneur or you've got a number of people? So for me, I've had large businesses in my business life, exciting, thrilling, awesome, but I've also closed them, and I know what that means and how hard that can be. And so for me, it's about addressing the not negotiable. For me, is helping women in business to get past that overwhelm, because technology can be challenging for a lot of people. I seem to be one of those people who embraces technology and finds it not so difficult. I'm not saying the expert in all elements of business, but I do understand what is best practice, so that if you're going to have an end game, an end strategy in your business, let's work out what that is, so that we can have you get the return on investment that you deserve when the time comes, whenever that point is.
I love this. And what you're saying about, have the end in mind. I think that's really important. I think,
Yeah.
many that are first starting their businesses, it's sort of a passion project, and nobody's sure it's going to work. And so sometimes there's a little bit of the like, let's throw spaghetti at the wall at first and see if it sticks. And there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that, maybe in the beginning where you don't have an end goal in mind because you don't even know if you have, proof of concept yet, right?
Correct.
But I
Yes.
think once you realize that that spaghetti you threw at the wall is sticking and it's well received, and now you're starting to bring in the money and you have a functioning business and you can see that it has a future, this is exactly when these all women need to get out of that in the moment mode and now look at that end game, right? And put the
Exactly.
processes into place because it is so important. And so often we think there's enough time, and so we'll get to it later. It's
Yes.
amazing how quickly time passes. Just think about someone in your family that used to be a toddler and now is going to college. I mean, it just happens. And, the
All
same
the
thing
time.
can happen with a business. And so
Exactly.
and it is so important. And it's also, like you're saying, less overwhelming when you know exactly where you are
The
headed,
plan.
right? The end
Correct.
result, right? And then work backwards. And you can even build out a perfect timeline when you do this. It's really any goal you have, you really should see the end result first and then work
Correct.
it backwards to where you are.
Backwards.
So
Mm-hmm.
tell me a little bit more, like someone that might want to get started with you. What
Yeah.
program would they maybe get started with, and how would
Yeah.
that work for them? How many,
Yes.
a little bit more. And then maybe if you can share your spell out your business website link, just so we make sure
Yes. I will.
everybody has that.
Yes. Indeed. So great question. And the program I've got is one that actually works on the person first. What I know is that when you're in business, we've got a gazillion hats to wear, and we're shuffling a lot of stuff, and often we're parents, we're a wife of somebody or a partner of somebody, and we've got lots of pressures on us, right? And so it can become overwhelming. So I've got the Her Transformation Program. I created that a couple of years ago, and I'm super proud of it. And so what it does is it works with women, and we want them to reconnect. What's their purpose? Why are they doing this business? What was the impetus? What was the tipping point to have them start the business? What is their why? What's their passion? What keeps them going? Because what I know, and I've experienced it, and potentially you have as well, Tamara, that I've often been referred to as somebody's wife, somebody's boss, the owner of a certain dog or a cat or a child, and you get this other personas, if you will, and we can sometimes feel that we've lost ourselves, right? And so I want to work with that person to go, all right, let's reconnect this, why you do it, and reconnect it to your business. Then we go through the inspiration phase of this program, which is about really setting great goals. And so you spoke about that, let's craft a goal. Let's identify the size of the market opportunity for your business, because invariably people think in very small numbers. And I often will say, well, what would it look like if you added some zeros or a couple of zeros to that? How does that make you feel? And I'm not suggesting everybody wants to build a $20 million business and beyond, right? They don't always want to do that, but at least have some goals that gives them a bit of a thrill, keeps them motivated, keeps them excited. And what will that feel like when you get to that point, right? So working through all those elements. And then it's the last phase is the transformation phase. And that's literally about taking action. Because what we're really great at is attending online courses, attending webinars, and not then stop. We don't do anything. And so I want to help that person to go, all right, well, what transformational action are you going to take in this business? And let me walk you through and guide you through that piece. So that's the Her Transformation Program. But I brought some extra elements in it that I think really make it beautiful. So I was sharing with you before we started this interview, the importance of understanding what you should wear, what colors and things like that. And I shared the story that probably about 15 years ago, I had a large team, I was starting to do some speaking, and we were all a bit nervous and a little bit scaredy about getting up on stage, right? So it was suggested to me to go and have my styling done and my colors done. And so I had that done 15 years ago. And I cannot tell you the confidence, the armor, if you will, that it gave me. And yeah, people say to me, oh, look, you wear lovely colors. That's because I now know what colors suit my skin type, all those sort of things. And when I had it done, my hair color was probably my lip color. I was a very deep red, but thankfully the colors still work. And so I'm bringing in a beautiful friend of mine, Jane Vandermeer, who is a renowned global stylist. And so all of my candidates get a 90-minute session with her virtually. We take the camera to go look at the wardrobe. I'm not there, but they go and she looks and she gives advice and she all those sort of things. So for me, it's about building confidence, right? Because these women potentially are going to be speaking more. We public speak every day on this thing. And so, Jane knows what you should be thinking about when you're on the screen. What should you wear and all those sort of things, colors and etc. And then I brought another good friend of mine who does a profiling tool called the Contribution Compass, which I absolutely love. Just the name of it speaks volumes. And so it helps that individual to understand where do they contribute in flow most in their business and their life. Where are the gaps? And we're not suggesting, oh, go and learn how to do marketing because that's your gap. No, it's about, does it serve you to go and learn that skill? Or do we now look at outsourcing it and bringing somebody in that fills that gap for you? Because you might unconsciously be aware of that gap, and that's adding to the level of pressure and stress that's in your life, right? Go, oh, I can't get all this stuff done. So one of the questions I often ask my clients is, where do you lose time? Because that's when you know you're in flow, right? Like, give me a good spreadsheet and I'm a happy girl. I'll lose a lot of time, but you get me in front of the screen and I'll lose a lot of time because I enjoy doing it. So what do you enjoy doing? What do you have to do that we need to address? But what can we outsource? And so all those elements and these guest speakers come into this online program. And then I've got a couple of guest appearances from a girlfriend who's a public speaker. So she teaches people how to do public speaking, how to work the stage, whether the stage is here on this screen or live. And then I've got another lovely lady who talks about unconscious bias, all the things that we've been exposed to and how do we manage that. So there's myself in there. It's 8 weeks. It's online, lots of videos, lots of one-on-ones, lots of group coaching, and all these lovely, lovely ladies that come on board. So once that's done, then I want to then do an audit of their business. So the audit is, if we are going to grow and scale because we've now reconnected our purpose, we've now got some great goals, we're now about to take some action, right, let's look at what you've got in place, and I'll give them a report to go, this is what you're going to need, bearing in mind what I know their goal is. And then if they choose to, they can work with me further to make that happen. So that is the Her Transformation Program, and that's delivered by Navigate Biz, and I will spell it because it's a tricky one. NAVIG 8 the digit BIZ.com. Pretty easy to find.
Well, I love this on so many levels because, first of all, yes, the foundational piece and why it matters for that long-term goal and how to get there. But adding in the whole element and recognition of the individual person, who they are, what is the most joyful way of doing their business, what isn't joyful, let's find an alternative way to get it done. Yes. Who are they showing up as with, not only their internal self, but their external. And it's just amazing because it is like an all-inclusive package with you. You are covering all of the most important details of someone having such a successful start to their business. You can see why this would matter to have someone help, coach you the whole way through and pinpoint it, because it is so true. I fell for this when I first started. It's all the things you're supposed to be doing, and you soon can often get to be like a deer in the headlights where you just freeze because it's just too much, and yet you're criticizing yourself for not being able to get with it and deal with it because everybody else seems to be doing it. And there's the self-criticism, the self-doubt, the overwhelm that takes all joy out of your business. Exactly. And one of the best secrets is exactly what you're saying, have a blueprint and have a clear focus, know your big why, and realize you can actually just achieve one goal at a time and get to the next one after that. You don't have to do everything under the sun all at once, nor should you. So I love this because then what
Yeah.
happens is when you have a program like yours, it brings the joy back. It brings why they are even doing this in the first place. And you really don't want to accidentally sacrifice what could be an amazing, beautiful business that not only helps you, but helps others just
Exactly.
because you decided to do it all on your own and you got overwhelmed and you got caught in the weeds and just think, oh, this must not be for me. No, that's not true. It is for you if the desire's in your heart. You just need a navigation. That's why I love your business name.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, it's fantastic. Just think of,
Thank you.
I'm going to think of you as a GPS system. How about that?
Thank
That's not
you.
so bad,
That's
right?
awesome.
Yeah, I
I
love
love
that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go into the success questions. And this I love because it's so helpful. Before I even get started on what they are, I wanted to ask you because you spoke about getting on stage, you had your wardrobe colors and everything done, but a lot of women in the beginning of their business or even somewhere in the middle, they still have a little bit of trouble being visible, getting out there, speaking,
Yes.
even on Zoom calls. Can you give some tips maybe on how they can find their inner core that can give them that
Yeah.
power to show up? Like, how did you do it when you first were a little bit
Yeah.
insecure
Yeah.
about it? How'd you come over that?
Well, you know what? I tap back into why, like I started all the business I've had, I've loved. And so, what I know is that when we are speaking, if we're talking about something we know intimately well, deeply passionate about, and just recognize that we have an element of genius, we've started it for a reason. Everybody wants to hear why you started the business. So it's not about, don't feel that you have to go and push a product, push a service down somebody's throat. For me, sales is about service. It's about a conversation, you know? And so what I know is tap back into, what do you love about this thing? Why did you start this business? Which is why I created the Her Transformation. So tapping back into that and recognizing that, you know what? Everybody else gets up out of bed the same way that you do. Like it's the old adage, right? Just recognize that we are all human. And, I get nervous at times. Like there are times that I'm in front of a large group of people. But often it's the case. Once you get started, it's never as bad as you thought it was going to be, right? So step forward. But I think a great place to start is using this thing, right? Use this thing and put it on a tripod. I don't like seeing myself on film. Nobody likes hearing our own voices and things like that. But if I can share one little quick tip, if you can find the courage to do a 2-minute video on this thing, you can, through my mentoring and coaching, I can tell you how to turn that into 25 pieces of content for your site.
Oh, love
Right?
this.
One video. So what I would recommend somebody do, this is a really beautiful exercise. Grab a piece of paper, and I'm definitely a lots of colored pens girl. Like always got colored pens. Blank piece of paper, and write down 50 things you know, small things about your business, about your expertise, about who you are. I'm a great mother. I know how to do Excel spreadsheets. I'm really good at it. All the things you're really good at, things that you are in flow in. Guess what? You've now got 50 things to talk about.
Wow, beautiful.
And if you get stuck, I just say to them, change the color, and do it once a month. You'll be surprised how many lots of 50 you will find, and that's what you talk about.
I love that. And the fact of you can help them repurpose that, which is such a time saver and becomes a
Yeah.
bigger benefit in a bigger way because you're getting that beautiful work out there in so many different areas. Yeah, for me too, like I of course was nervous when I first did this, and it was about three times I had a little nerve. And I remember in the very beginning I was fanatical about editing and making it perfect and realized
Perfect.
3 hours, right? Yeah,
Oh,
3 hours later, my little, let's say 10-minute video took, a total of 4 hours. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then
right.
I just
Yeah.
let it go. And I just decided, you know what? I'm just a human. I'm not perfect, nor do I want to be. And it becomes so much more relatable when you just,
Oh,
are
I know.
just you, right? And then the other thing that helped me get over it is I really realized I said, it's actually not about me. I'm here to serve.
Oh,
I'm here to help somebody else. And if I don't show up, then I don't help somebody. And that became like,
Mm.
okay, wow, let me get my own self out
Oh,
of the way. It's not about me. Goodbye, ego. Show up and let's help people. And so that just became, then it was just like
it is.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So if you think about, oh, I am not allowing somebody to grow
Yeah.
and be a better version of them because I'm a little bit frightened of talking about it, get out of your own way and get it done.
Yes.
And it's a super quick thing. We're all human. We make mistakes. I updated my Facebook page yesterday, spent not a lot of time, created the new banner, spelling mistake in it, didn't even notice. A whole bunch of people saw it, and then somebody said, oh, I think there's a spelling error. And I went, great, opportunity to chat with that person.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
started off in a conversation. So we all make mistakes, right? And I didn't even notice. And I went, oh, what a goose. Rightio, fix that.
Yeah.
But it opened an opportunity for a conversation, right? What
I,
brought you to this site? How can I help you?
I
All
love
those sort of
that. Yes,
yeah,
that's so fantastic. I think the biggest thing with making the mistakes and, just kind of being a normal person is we're normalizing that we don't have to be perfect and we make it easier for everyone else to just go forward and go for it. So we're doing a
exactly.
service by not being perfect, right? Exactly.
Exactly,
Like,
right? We all make mistakes.
yes, exactly.
Doesn't matter.
And the only
Mm.
reason I bring this up so much is I recall that for myself and most of my clients, this was that biggest hurdle in the beginning. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
I have to go live. And you just think that fear is going to stay with you the entire time of your
doesn't.
business. It doesn't. It's pretty much gone in 1 to 3 takes, and you're
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. What would be your number one professional tip for women to grow their businesses if you could only choose one thing?
Mm. Collaborate. My
Mm,
biggest success in all my businesses have been collaborating with other business people. And, I approach it with a really professional approach. This is not about, oh, hey, Tamara, let's go do some work together and you do this and I'll do that. And we just hope that it works, right? So we need to have a connection. We need to make sure that the values align. My largest successes have been with my biggest competitors. So do the research, find out what gap they have. So for a really simple example, maybe you're a small operation and you would like to go for a tender or a grant or a corporate opportunity, right? And you look at the profile and you go, oh, I can do that, 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 that. Oh, but there's about 3 or 4 things missing. Oh, damn it, I can't do it. No, 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 no. Go find somebody who's got those skills, and it could be what you've got, Tamara. And let's build a connection. Let's connect and let's reach out and go. Actually, have you heard about this? Yeah, but I can't do a whole bunch of things, but I can, and you look like you can fill the balance. They just want a service, right? That organization. They don't really have a concern about two people getting together, but do approach it as though you are a corporate. Huge believer in putting agreements together. Tamara's going to do this, Joanne's going to do that. What's not negotiable? Who is going to do both? How are you going to support one another? How do you exit out of this thing? Then put your application together, because collaboration for me, as I said, has been brought to me my biggest success factors. So when I've even written a chapter in a book about this. This is about being completely clear about why I'm doing it. You have some things that I don't have, and I have some things you don't have. How can we collaborate? And it could be just, hey, Tamara, let's catch up next week and have a conversation. So I think there might be something here that we can do together, but approach it really professionally with agreements, with clarity about who does what, because guarantee you there's going to be a hiccup and then you go, but you said you were going to do that. No, 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 hang on. It's
yeah,
in this document that you're going
right.
to do that. And so it doesn't make the hiccups not appear, but it helps you to resolve them quickly. And how do you distribute income? Where does the money go? Who pays who? On what basis? How does this all happen? And that might sound really hard, but it's not. Like, I'm having
Yeah.
conversations with people that we're going to be doing a workshop together, a series of 3 workshops. This person's going to do 2, I'm going to do 1. Really simple. It's already material that we've got, but collectively between us, we can go to an audience that we would not normally talk to.
I love this so much. And I'm
Just
so glad that you, yeah,
stunning.
it's amazing because even your program, like you have this most amazing all-inclusive program, but you're bringing people in to show up that can be helpful to your clients, like
Right.
the lady who can help with the style, you know, and
Exactly.
then the other woman that is helping with the speaking and
Right.
all of the
Yeah.
things. And this is fantastic because this means that you have an unlimited ability to be able to put your dream program into practice, regardless of your own personal skill set. And then it allows you to build these beautiful relationships that not only serve you, but can help so many more clients. So, like, not only obviously will it make your business more successful and most likely more profitable, but just building relationships and then serving so many more people. I mean, that's
Exactly.
fantastic. I love that. Really love that. And that is actually, I would say, the number one business building tip is collaboration. And also, I love this idea too, because sometimes in the beginning, women may, or any business owner may, worry a little bit about, oh, the competition, as if they're that, you
Yes.
know, should be on the other side. Welcome them into your world, bring them into your world, especially women. The collaboration thing is 100%. There is not this old mentality of
Yeah.
competition, and it's done.
Oh,
That's done. No woman wants that anymore. And we've, the same way we're done with hustle culture, we are done with competitive culture. We're here for the
exactly.
joy and we're here for the collaboration. And you get to design that business yourself. And all
Exactly.
the women are doing it and they're succeeding doing it. So that means you can do it too. Create your dream business and then pull in your dream resources, right? I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you brought that up, actually. Fantastic. Okay. Let me ask you, for you personally, what is the reason, like is the reason you feel so successful and empowered because of you creating your own business? Like, what is that beautiful piece that you are so jazzed about having gone in this direction?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, for me, I've been a business owner for 20 odd years and had all sorts of different businesses. I just love the ability. This is not about a control thing. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go into business because I can control everything that I do, that I don't get told by somebody. I'm not being micromanaged. And so a lot of them are thinking unconsciously, I'm going to control my own life. This is not how I see it. This empowers me to be expansive. So
Creation.
there are no limits to what I can do, because one of the things I've been thinking about literally in the last few days is to go out and to reach out to my competitor coaches, because there are coaches that are coaches in business. I'm a resilience coach, business resilience coach. There's all these other coaches. What if we came together and created an event where we had a panel with all these women with different geniuses within the coaching space, and we brought all these people in and we workshopped it? And I went, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. I cannot do that as an employee. I might be
No,
able to put a business case and put it to the boss and hope, maybe he thinks it's a good idea. So for me, I'm empowered to do what I want, how I want to do it. Yep, there's rhythms and rituals in my business that I know I've got to do my tax at a certain time, and there's all those obligations. But the freedom and the empowerment that it gives me to go, I've got an idea. I'm going to go and quality check it with my networks. And so I will. I don't go and just put something together. The Her Transformation has been sampled, has been tested. People have gone through it. Networks have looked at it. And so I know I've created a proof of concept, but it gives me the ability. I get to choose that that's what I want to do.
I love that. That's it. It's that it's ultimately freedom and then it's also creation, which is so joyful, right? And I love it because you it is more important to put on the positive reasons of why you're doing it rather than what you're trying to avoid. It's like, what are you gaining instead of what are you trying to lose, you know? So I love that perspective as well because it's definitely more positive focused. So, okay, what will you never compromise on with your business?
If somebody doesn't align with my values, it's a hard no, an absolute hard no. And I said no to a very high paying role just the other day because it doesn't serve me. It didn't connect with my goals and where I wanted to take the business. It was massive income. And I went, you know what? I'm not prepared to go do that 5 days a week on a consulting basis at that rate. It doesn't align with my goals. So I did a quick check in. I went, So I said to this person who was a friend, I said, no, it's not me, but let me go find somebody who does. And so, for me, again, I want to collaborate. I want to help. I want to serve. And so I've got a large network. So let me go put some calls out and see if we can find some people who are prepared to do it. And it does align with what they're doing. So I've been in a position in my business, a previous business, where I lost my connection to purpose and the values, and I was physically ill. And it took me a while to work that out. Why did I want to go to work? Why don't I want to go to the office? Business is going great, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh man, I've lost my way. I need to reconnect myself. So it physically made me sick. So that again is an impetus for the Her Transformation program, because there's people out there that are going, oh, I used to love my business, but oh, it's hard today and it really makes me feel ill. We don't want that. That's a hard no for me.
And that's a very important point that you bring up, because it does show up physically. I can speak to it I was attempting some way of doing business way back many, many years ago. And it worked. Everybody was happy, but there was something about it that wasn't sitting well with me. And I remember I really knew it when I was starting to wake up already with thoughts somehow in my dream sleep, that I was already having that like bad feeling, like, no, is not on point. You'll also feel that in a relationship too, as soon as maybe someone's trying to give you a kiss and you're just like, nah, whatever it might be, like your body will show you. And that's actually one of the other things that wanted this off the question, but sometimes there can be a confusion between, okay, so you set a goal, you want that
Yes.
goal, and you're going to work really hard for it, and there's something really great about that. But then there's another part that if you have to try so hard to make it come together, maybe it's not meant for you. Can you speak to that? Because this is a very, I think it's a more of an intuitive sense.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we get like, but I have to complete this goal, even if I'm not happy anymore. I made the goal and therefore I have to achieve it. And so maybe speak to that a little bit, because
Yeah.
I've found myself in that position a couple times, and then I'm like, I figured it out now, but
Yeah. So goal setting is a good thing. Goals can change. Absolutely, they can change. So when somebody is looking to set a goal, I will always ask them, what will it feel like when you get there? What do you expect that you will feel? And what's the impact? Because often people think about, particularly women, they'll share with me a goal. I go, so that's great, but I want you to go deeper. What's the feeling that you're going to have? But what's the feeling your family is going to have? Because they often don't think about that deeply, because unconsciously we want our kids to be proud of us, right? We want our partners to be proud of us, our parents, circle of friends. We want that, but we may not necessarily articulate it. So it's actually okay. It is okay to change your goal. I've got a goal that, and I don't know how I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to be in a stadium with thousands of women, and I'm going to have 1,000 people on stage. I don't know how I physically will do that. But I will be scholarshiping my entire programs for them. When I get there, I know I've got hit success. It gives me goosebumps every time I say it. It makes me excited. I can smell it. I can hear it. I can feel it. That's a very big goal. Am I going to do that next year? Nope. Am I going to do it at some point? Yes. But what I do know I need to do is I then need to, step back a bit and go, all righty, let's reverse engineer what I've got to do. So let's say it's going to take me 10 years. What have I got to do by year 5, year 3 to 1 year? My 6-month mark, my quarterly mark, my monthly, my daily. So what I do every day is write down 3 things that speak to that big, hairy, audacious goal.
yes.
So what are 3 little things I have to do today that I need to do today that speak to that? So it's not me getting overwhelmed about, how am I going to do that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I have visualized that for 2 years. It came to me and I went, I so want that. And the consequence of that is the lifestyle that I aspire to have, that I can buy my child, my 27-year-old daughter, the home that she wants. We'll be traveling whenever we want, all the lifestyle stuff that you want. So my goals are not that. My goals is this stadium thing, because I know once I've got there, all those other things will naturally come.
Yes.
So A, goals can change. B, you've got to feel it. You've got to really connect into it. And what I do every day, I'm just going to grab a book because it's my journal. It's my planner every day. So this is my planner. You can just see there's a bunch of words on it, right? But down the bottom of it, I write my goals as though they have already happened.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't write them as though I hope to do blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
It is, I have bought my daughter and her partner their home. I've
Yes.
bought it for them because unconsciously that is helping me to work on all the things that I need to do. So A, goals can change. B, reverse engineer it. And what's the little things you can do each day that speak to that? And it's okay if it's a 10, 20-year goal. That's perfectly fine.
I love this. And also like enjoying the whole process of getting there. So that like, it's not just about the arrival, but it is about the journey, like we want to enjoy that. And I love what you're saying about, put your goals as if they already happened, because, when you say, I want to blah, 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 that's going to keep you in a wanting state, because you're basically
Yes.
saying you want to want, and you don't want to just want, you want to have, accomplished. So the fact of you already seeing it as having happened already is great. And like I always say, like your goal is such a beautiful, bold, fabulous goal, and it will happen because the desire's in your heart, and it would not be there if it was not meant for you. And that's what I say to everybody. If your desire is in your heart, it is already, it basically already happened. You just haven't met it yet. It's just a timing thing then until you get there. Your desire that you feel, it's happened. It's there. It's sitting in the future. So just walk and find your way to it. So love this. Okay,
Thank you.
let's see. What I am always about like doing wealthy woman things, wealthy woman activities, that, sort of like what you were saying, you put on your clothing armor to get in your strength, for your work. And so, but like maybe when you wake up in the morning, what are some wealthy woman activities that you do to set your tone up right? I mean, you spoke to a couple of them, like the three things that you're putting out
Yes,
there, but like, do you have a morning routine?
I absolutely do. So we get up at 5 a.m. in the morning,
Mhm.
always. We live in an area where when it's summer, the sun is up at 20 past 4. So we get up. We have two large dogs. So we go, I know what's important for me is to walk around near water. So we go for a walk around near the water, come home. And then I do yoga, I do meditation, and I do my journal. So I will put some quiet music on. I do not turn, the computer's sitting in front of me. I'm doing my journal here, but I don't look at it. It's just a blank screen, and I get those things done. When I don't do it, my day just feel a bit weird, right? And sometimes I
Wonky.
don't because we've got an early morning meeting or something like that. So I will endeavor to do an element of that throughout the day. I may not be able to go and walk the dogs, but I can. I'm very lucky. I've got a spare room in the home that I live in that I've set up as my yoga. It's got my yoga mat there. It's got everything ready. I'll just turn on the lighting, and I can go and do some yoga then. But that is something that I've done for a very long time. Do I get it right every time? No, but consistently I do it at least 5 times a week, and it just serves me well. It's what I need to do.
Yes, I love that. I also agree with you. The way you start your day really does show up in how you complete it. And I think one of the things, if you're sometimes a person that's very hard on yourself, whether it's your business goals or maybe you have a health goal and you're really great, and then all of a sudden something takes you off course, sometimes you feel like you can want to spiral and just give it all up and just like be bad for a week or a month and let it all go. And I can tell you, no, please don't do that.
All
If
right.
you made a
No.
little hiccup, dust yourself off, forgive yourself, and get right back up the next day, because it doesn't mean you have to spiral, and because sometimes that self-sabotage kicks in, and you have to think about all that you've already done well and allow yourself that human element again. And I always like the 80-20 rule. Like if you're doing it 80% of the time right, give yourself a break for the 20 and just get back on the horse, so to speak.
Exactly.
So I love it. Well, this has been such an amazing,
Tamara.
helpful, gigantic, beautiful interview. I love it. It's just amazing. Tell us one more time where they can find you. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing this wealth of wisdom with everybody, because it's definitely empowering for them to listen to this and have the chance to reach out to you and help build their foundations and get it correct so that they can enjoy the journey of building a successful business instead of always maybe zigzagging everywhere and trying to do it all by themselves, which can be overwhelming.
Exactly. And thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it. So my business name is Navigate Biz, NAVIG, the number 8, BIZ.com.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. And well, I told you, wealthy women, did I not, that this was going to be an energy boost like no other. There's so much gold in this interview that you can start implementing right away. And then please reach out. Please get her help. She's amazing at what she does. And you are going to be blessed by the help that she can provide and the joy and the ease that will come from that in your own building of your own successful business and the goals and dreams that you want to achieve. So, all right. Well, until next time, I wish you a beautiful day. And remember, if it's in your heart, it's meant to be in your life. So just trust the process and find the most joyful way of doing everything, whether it's your business, your fitness, your relationships. Always ask your question. Always ask yourself this question: what is the most joyful way that I can do this? Because ultimately, let's go for happiness, right? It's great to achieve the big goals, but let's be in joy. That is everything. So, okay, ladies, see you next time. Bye for now. I always have to put on my glasses because I can't see. Okay.